with Lotte Mikkelsen. Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for inviting me.
Oh. Oh, well, welcome everyone. Oh, I am so happy to be able to sit down here and talk to Lotte, because Lotte just makes you laugh. And we'll explain in a little while. So what are all these VIP interviews about? Well, I have met and still meeting so many wonderful people in my life who change not only my life, but your life and everybody else's life who is around them through their work and through who they are. So this series is bringing to you a way how you don't need to live by default. You can change how you live. And today it's with Lotte. And Lotte is my laughter yoga teacher. I am pleased to say hello, Lotte.
Hi, Lindsay.
And Lotte is going to introduce you guys who don't realize that you can actually laugh over nothing. So Lotte, over to you. Tell us a little bit about you. How did you get into the world of laughter, and why is it called laughter yoga?
Well, do you know what? How I got into it is a really long story, but I'm not going to bore you with the full thing. But I went to World Laughter Day. That was first time celebrated outside of India in 2000, and it was held in Copenhagen. And I shared laughter with 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 people.
Really?
And it really made me think about, wow, this is what I want to do. I want to change the world with laughter. So from then on, it was just a little bit of a bumpy journey, but we got here in the end. And now I'm a yoga master trainer in the UK. And you know what? The thing about it is that it's not about yoga exercises as such. It's about the breathing exercise from yoga, and then of course the playful laughter exercises. That's why it's called laughter yoga.
Yeah, because it takes you back into being a child again, doesn't it?
Oh, it makes you really, really playful, and you need to be a little bit willing to explore that aspect of yourself, because sometimes we forget it and we become really serious about life and all life is about. And to be able to tap into that playfulness is just wonderful, because it creates real life change.
It does.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, you don't need to. We've been brought up thinking that to laugh, we've got to be watching somebody cracking a joke, or somebody on a stage, or somebody just being daft and silly. But we don't do it. We can actually just go. You know, and people who know me know that I'll burst out like this. And I'm sure people who know you will do the same.
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. And the whole idea of it is that we're not waiting for other people to make us laugh. But you know, there are always going to be people who come up to you when you say, oh, I teach people to laugh. And they come up to you and they start cracking jokes. That's okay as well, because you know, I find lots of jokes funny, and there are some that go completely over my head. But do you want to laugh for a minute or so?
Yeah, let's laugh for a minute. Let's start how it's all about. Okay, I'll let you go, and I'll watch your time for a minute. Oh, I have no idea what it is. Let's go. Let's laugh.
Okay. Are you ready?
what on earth is going on there? Well, I really bet that you couldn't help yourself, but even have a little titter going.
Yeah. And you know what, Lindsay, there are always going to be people who just sit and watch and think, but as you can see, it's quite a long time, isn't it? A minute is quite a long time. And think about it, I do this 10 minutes every morning on the telephone.
Wow.
and it literally is where you find it's so difficult to stop again, because you just feel so great when you have a good laugh.
Yeah. So on that subject, what does it do to us?
Well, if obviously we're in two different rooms, but one of the things about it is when we're laughing together and sharing laughter together, it's so infectious, and just looking at someone smile, so it connects us big time. But of course, key thing is that when we laugh, we release all sorts of chemicals, and it's a cocktail. I know the most mentioned one is endorphins, which is the happy chemical, and the body's natural painkiller is actually self-made morphine, if you think about it. But it makes you feel really, really good. And it's, in connection with that, there are lots of other chemicals like oxytocin, which is our love hormone,
yeah.
and antidepressant, and the serotonin, and higher levels of dopamine, which is used to motivate us to do a lot of work. Not just do a lot of work, but motivate us to go out and live life. so
Yes.
a cocktail that makes us feel really, really good. And then of course, with endorphins, they're known to lower the stress chemicals like cortisol. So when we lower stress, we are more able to fight off illness, because stress really, really inhibits our immune system, so it doesn't work properly when we're big time stressed. And who's not stressed? But there's good, bad stress, isn't there?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you wake up in the morning and you laugh, I mean, I have to say, it's the last thing you want to do, isn't it? It's like, oh, give me my tea. Oh no, I've got this day ahead of me. I've got no time to laugh. But if we just take time out, even just a minute, it gets the body going.
Yeah, you know what? They say that you need to laugh for 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes to get the full extent of the benefits, which there are lots more benefits than what I just mentioned. But you need to laugh 10 to 15 minutes at a time. And ideally in the morning, because you bring that cocktail of feel-good hormones with you into the day. And when you're in a good mood, everything you do during the day is done in a good way. And people relate to you differently and so on. But again, it's often people say, oh, I don't have time for that. I just say to them, just get up 10 minutes earlier. And I know it doesn't work for everybody. So, but lots of people have routines like doing meditation and yoga or exercise routines in the morning. So maybe it's just laughing in the shower, or laughing while you're waiting for that cup of tea.
Waiting for the kettle, of course, yes. Yeah, because you don't need to stand there and just laugh. You can be doing it as you're going around your house, and even after your 10 minutes, you can do it throughout the days if you're feeling really lousy.
Yeah, and the other thing is, of course, that some people, because they may live with other people, family or friends or roommates or so, and some people say, oh, I can't do that because I'd be so self-conscious. But the thing, you can also do silent laughter. You
can't help it.
No, I know. But that is my all-time favorite laughter, actually, because it really works your face, it works your abdominal muscles, and it pulls the rib muscles as well, the intercostal muscles between your ribs. So you really get a good workout using your diaphragm. And that's one of the key things about this way of laughing, that we need to take it from up here where we normally do our social laughter, which is the so we need to really bring it into our body, and that's where we get all these benefits. And if you do this every day, you start shifting your thinking and your perspective, and and you start finding solutions instead of being, oh no, I can't face this, and so on. And I'm not mocking anybody, because I've been there myself as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we are, yeah.
It's just about becoming more resourceful and resilient to what we go through. So it's a great, great, great coping strategy, to be honest. It really is. And facing dark days and so on. It's getting to be winter and cold.
I know. I saw your wonderful short video when you were in Iceland, and you had a hat on, and you couldn't wear your gloves or the phone. And I mean, I was laughing as well, because it goes, oh, it's cold. And, you know, we do, if we sort of look at things where we would normally go, oh my God, it's so cold, you know, or even, oh, I've got this bill, how am I going to pay for it? And the face droops, doesn't it? And the shoulders go in, and your body begins to react to that. But if you go and you laugh, and like you were saying, you know, you don't just go from here, you do a big belly laugh, because that's the yoga part. And it just, you know, you look at the bill and you go, and it works. It does, it works.
Yeah. I just think we become a little bit too serious, and we need to tap into that playfulness and laughter, and also gibberish for that matter. It's a direct route to that, because it takes away the seriousness. And so I was laughing yesterday with 150 business people, and it was a great, a few of them, when we were leaving, because the conference finished with my laughter session, and so some of them stayed and some of them left, and I was walking out with a few of them, and one of them said, do you know what, we don't do this when we're at work, and we don't laugh when we're at work, it's too serious. And they were just like, their faces had just changed, and so it was a lovely, lovely session. And of course you can't please everybody, because laughter yoga isn't for everybody, but unless you give it a try, you really can't say whether it's for you or not.
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. You mentioned gibberish. Do explain.
Art of nonsense. The art of speaking nonsense. And you would just start speaking gibberish. I would reply to you in gibberish. I said, God, I bet you but strukker på godt.
Ja, strukker på godt. Vad kan du ta till när låter på rot? Det är jätta bra när det gör.
Så bara strukker på Isterboga.
Could we just go on for the rest of the time?
I know. And do you know what? The things you can't speak gibberish unless you're willing to play. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful way of letting go of what you think you know. Because if you think you can plan a gibberish conversation, you can't. And it just frees up tension and stress, and it frees up clear communication. Well, gibberish itself is not clear, but when you've been speaking gibberish, when you have a conversation, it comes from a different perspective, a different place in you. Where often, you know, when you're having a conversation and you're listening to someone, and at some point you kind of switch off from what they're saying, because you're starting to plan what you're going to reply.
True.
So we're not present. And when you start speaking gibberish and then have the conversation, your presence is going to be there. So it's really, really interesting.
That's fascinating. God help the people I meet now, because when I'm getting really bored, I'm going to go, and that's gone.
But that's brilliant, because it really shifts things, and it well, it's like discharging the maybe the upset or whatever there is, because suddenly you're like, what?
Oh yes.
But some may be more irritated, or some may just start laughing, because it's like, what, surprise, something come out of your mouth, then me.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Mm.
You know, if you're not used to laughing, it's exhausting.
Do you know, it is a practice and it is an exercise, and in the way we do it, but when you're into it and so on, it just comes so, just like you laugh so easily, yeah? And that's what comes with practice, and it just comes really close to your skin, so anytime you can just burst into laughter. I've actually had many people say, are you nervous laughing? Because you laugh all the time. No, I just can't help it.
Yeah, because it's a part of speech for you.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the same when you're wearing a smile. You are not far from a little laugh or a giggle or so with someone. Yes. So always be the first to smile. That's a tip for anyone who may be on here. I can't see it.
Yeah, I can't see anybody here. Oh, there are people there, but I can't see any names. There's no comments or anything. But you know, you're so right there with smiling, because that's something I tell everybody. You know, if you can't laugh, then smile. You know, go out and smile to everybody. And sometimes I might actually look as if I'm quite thick, you know, because I'm walking down the street and I'm going, let's smile at people. And they look back at me and I think, I don't care. Because that in itself releases all these wonderful chemicals.
Absolutely. And the thing is, laughter and smile, it doesn't always have to be loud, because it may not be appropriate in all situations. But a smile is such a kind thing to do. It really is. And we have no idea. Some people may be offended, or we think they're offended, but the thing is, we never ever know what goes on in people's minds, and we never know the impact a smile may have on someone. So it's about, I always say, always be the first to smile, because you cannot expect someone else to take the first step, and you're the one who's trained.
Absolutely, yes. And we also know as well that what the benefits, I mean, it's not just the benefits for ourselves, but it's a benefit for every single person that we come across, because we feel good. People that you interact with, even, you know, your animals as well, even the plants, that your garden, the trees, even your car, because my car's being pretty irritating at the moment. And I'm going along, I'm going, I love you, car. I love you, car. And it takes my mind away about it and doing this, dum, dum, dum. I don't know what's the matter with it. I'm not even going to go there. Takes my mind away from that. So I'm not stressed. So I can go.
Yeah. Completely. Sorry for interrupting you there.
No, Lotte, I can go on forever and ever like this. I need interrupted.
No, I totally agree. And, you know, I talk nicely to my car as well. And I say good morning to my plants and so on. And I think that's why they may be thriving. Although I did have an experience where I thought they were more green after I'd come back from Iceland. They don't like it.
I was thinking, oh my God, here she's back again. She's going to have us laughing again. Oh, I love it. I love it. So when you mentioned about smiling, there is it November? I wrote it down. November the 13th is Kindness Day, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes,
so
it is.
You mentioned about doing something.
Well, the thing is, I would really like to suggest that people around the country, or even around the world, would do something for International Kindness Day. And I didn't actually know about it until earlier this year, that it was 13th of November. Right. But it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? We should be kind every day, but at least on this particular day, shouldn't we? So,
yes.
So, and it's, I haven't put anything together yet, but because I will be traveling to Denmark on that day. But I imagine, because I'm arriving at my mum's place, and there are some people who often ask if I'm coming there to laugh with them. So I think I may just surprise them. And, you know, hopefully other people would do something. It doesn't have to be anything big. Maybe that thing about sharing a smile, or if someone is queuing up for coffee, buying it for them or so. Or it doesn't even have to cost anything. You know, it's just a little what's it called? Random act of kindness, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And be
Yes.
mindful that people may not be up for it. Not everybody may be up for it, but you know, we can only make the little difference we can do ourselves, can't we? Mm.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we all know about the butterfly effect, and
Yeah.
it's real.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And you know, by this particular day on November the 13th, if it will bring an awareness to an individual, to a group, and even if it is just a smile, I'm a great advocate. I tell everybody, have smiley eyes. If nothing else, have smiley eyes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it takes a smile, smiley eyes, laughter takes you straight out of that fight or flight mode.
It does, doesn't it? It does. It's amazing. That is really interesting what you say, because it's building bridges, isn't it? It is really, and it's that social glue that really connects us through any tough time we go through, or so. And it may just be the breaking point in going into being off sick or doing something worse or so to yourself. And you know, it's a kind word maybe or so, and a good morning or yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't take much, really doesn't take much, and a smile to go along. Some people won't recognize it immediately because they're not used to it, but you don't know the impact of it. You never know the impact of it. It may just totally shift their mood and how they feel about things.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
thing with smiling and with laughter, it puts us in a place where we can cope more easily. And if we do it, even better, because we are all together in this world, aren't we? We're in this life together.
Oh, yeah, we've no choice.
Yeah. I'd rather a little bit of laughing and smiling than just be miserable. I don't do miserable very well.
Well, you can't be miserable if you are living with somebody, or even sitting on a park bench and somebody is sitting, you know, sitting on a park bench, somebody's sitting there smiling. You might not be talking to each other, but that interaction is there.
Yeah, and it's just energy that's being transmitted and transferred and so on, isn't it?
Yes.
And if we all radiate smiles and kindness, you know, it's definitely going to be a much, much better world.
Oh, and you know, you mentioned stress there, and yes, stress in itself is brilliant because it can take us out of a situation that is dangerous to us, or a situation that doesn't suit us and ourselves. But to have that stress of being afraid of not being able to pay the bill, of the car not going to take me to my next, you know, destination when I get into it, and all the other stresses, they are the ones that damage us.
Yeah, because they are always there, and this is life. If you're worried about paying bills, or worried about the car, or worried about where's the next meal going to come from, and so on, and it's just ongoing, and it's adding on top of the next and the next and the next, and we never ever get out of that stressful moment. That's why it's not healthy. But we can sometimes release a little bit of the stress, and we can do that through the laughter and so on, or even through releasing through crying. Lots of people don't allow themselves to cry, and sometimes when we laugh a lot, it goes into woo, and into like a wave of maybe some tears come up and so on, because sometimes we need to laugh before we can cry, or cry before we can laugh. And
absolutely,
because it's just a continuum. It's just like from one to the next. It's not opposites. It's just release. And at the end of the day, when you've cried and laughed, you get back to the laughter, and you get back to the joy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you mentioned before about silent laughter, but you can also do it in your mind, can't you?
Yeah.
And pretend you're laughing.
Yeah.
And you still have that eruption within you, that release.
Yeah. And there's actually there's a study or some research done with sportsmen who were actually told to think about imagining they were doing whatever sport they did, like cycling or running or so, and they were put in these or attached to this equipment where the equipment would measure the muscle contractions and so on, and it was just as if they were doing the physical activity. And you can do similar with laughter, but of course the real effect comes when you do it, because that's where you feel it in your abdominal muscles as well, and your whole body. Yeah.
Yes.
The weakness from laughing, like, oh.
Oh, good. Yeah, and I mean, in laughing as well, if you're not used to it, I mean, where I notice it, and I mean, I'm used to it, is because we are using all the muscles that's in the lungs, it actually brings up all that gunge that's in your lungs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes people find that because they are breathing deeper and they are laughing deeper, it does, like you say, it brings up the toxins and the dust and the mucus, so they may feel that they're coughing a little bit more when they start laughing. Yes. And it's okay, because it's a release. Yeah, it's cleansing the body. Definitely.
Oh my, it has so many benefits that we could be here like forever. So
yeah.
we're actually coming near the end. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I know. So give us a tip, one tip. I mean, obviously it's, go and smile at everybody, or have a little titter to yourself, or a little laugh. But have you got a tip there for somebody who isn't used to laughter, or thinks, that's not for me?
Do you know, one of the first things to do in the morning is when you wake up is stretching, because it kicks off the circulation, and ability and mobility is what it's good for as well. Yeah? And a lot of people, when I ask them when we do the stretching and so on, I ask, do you do stretching on a daily basis? And lots of people say, no, I don't do that, and so on. And it's really, really important, because it wakes us up. And when you're doing the stretching and you really get into it and so on, then wriggle your fingers and just say a little in your head. Yeah, say a little, good morning, fingers. And wriggle your toes as well and say, oh, hello, toes. And it's just a little playful thought in your mind. And when you do that, you can't help but having a smile on your face. So when you get out of bed and walk out to either put the kettle on or pass a mirror on your way, just do a little hold on, my picture from here.
You're okay here.
Then just do it when you pass a mirror, just do a little playful.
I like it.
And it doesn't, the beauty of it is that initially it doesn't have to be real laughter, because what happens is, with the willingness and adopting that playful attitude, it starts shifting, and you start releasing those amazing chemicals, and your day kicks off on a really high good note.
Absolutely. So if anybody's looking here and they would like to do training, like I did training with you in Durham.
Yeah.
You train down where you live in London. How would they get in touch with you?
Oh, so I actually teach next time in Durham on the 23rd, 24th of November, and then in London on 7th, 8th of December. But if they want to find out more, they can visit 𝐸nitedmind.co.uk, which is my company. And that's a really easy route to find out more.
I think I put the link for that in the top, because we didn't actually, I wanted to ask you about United Mind, but we've not even touched on that.
No. But the other place, if they want to know more about my journey, which they may not want to know about, but they can also visit LotteMikkelsen.com. But that requires being able to spell it.
Yeah, like I got it O-N, but it's E-N. Oh, it's fabulous. So really, I mean, let's end on a minute of laughter, shall we?
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Then.
Are you ready?
Okay. Let me see. Don't know what that says, but I'm sure we can go. So let's just laugh. laughing. Oh, it is such fun. Bye for now.
And good.
Bye, Facebook. Oh, no, I don't want to end meeting. No, cancel that one. I've got the wrong thing. Stop live stream. That's the one I'm after. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to put this up.